Hi, my name's Tim Johnson. This is not a particularly pleasant video to make, but I think it's a really important one. And I implore you, if you haven't already done this, please share this information with anyone that you care about, particularly your family, your friends, your children, anyone that you think might benefit from it. Horrifically, last year in the United States, more people died of opiate overdose than the Vietnam War, the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War combined. That is a truly frightening figure. 72,000 people in 2017 died over there of a drug overdose. I'm using American figures, but this epidemic is all over the world. But America seems to be the only people that are reporting these figures fairly accurately. It could be a lot more than that. It could be many more than that. These are only reported deaths. The main cause of this opiate epidemic and the main cause of this overdose epidemic is a drug called fentanyl. For those of you who don't already know, fentanyl is a synthetically manufactured opioid drug. It is up to 100 times more powerful than morphine. The drug's been around many years and was used originally after an operation. You were given a minute dose of this to kill any pain when you actually woke up from an operation. The problem is now that this drug is tentacles of this drug. This death is making its way into Europe, into Britain, into over here where I am in Spain at the moment. And in the place I volunteer, we're seeing now overdosing on this drug. The problem is that this drug is replacing heroin because the drug cartels and the dealers have discovered it is very cheap to manufacture. It can be manufactured in laboratories rather than having to rely on smuggling heroin into the country from Afghanistan or wherever, on poppy growth and all the rest of the stuff that comes with manufacturing heroin and getting it into a country. They're finding that they can use the same laboratories that make methamphetamine and cocaine and all that and other synthetic drugs can be used to manufacture fentanyl because it is manufactured extremely cheaply. And what is happening now, because this drug is extremely addictive, more addictive than heroin, it grabs more of a hold of you than heroin ever could. They're finding people who are craving this drug now, they're putting it into, the dealers and the cartels are putting it into drugs like methamphetamine, they're putting it into cocaine. And it won't be long before it's going into drugs which are being used by the homeless at the moment, like spice, synthetic cannabinoids and all the rest of it, and killing people that way as well. The thing is, you think that would be, but they're putting, because this drug is so addictive, they're putting it into these other drugs to get repeat custom and but killing people. Because it only takes an absolutely tiny dose of this drug to send someone over. And the problem is, particularly with people that say that have relapsed, particularly heroin addicts, opioid addicts that have been off for a long time, then all of a sudden they get this drug with either heroin laced with fentanyl or another drug laced with fentanyl, or now more commonly fentanyl being sold on its own. It immediately will send them into overdose because it is so strong, and so I can't stress this enough, it is so powerful, and there's no way it can be evenly mixed into another drug. So if you're unlucky enough to get a dose which is spiked more heavily, it will kill you instantly. It will stop you breathing instantly. And we're seeing it over here in Europe much more, and this epidemic is killing people all over the world. Thousands of people, more than wars. You need to make everyone aware of it in your family, that it maybe takes drugs recreationally even, that this stuff is more and more prevalent everywhere at the moment, and it is killing people indiscriminately. and it is being put into other drugs that you think may be safe. And it's even drugs like I say, cocaine and methamphetamine, which are massive stimulants. And you would think that fentanyl, you know, is the opposite of that, which it is. It's an opioid effect, which is, you know, the opposite from a stimulant. But they're putting it in there to get people hooked. And people now, heroin addicts, aren't, because they're on fentanyl, they aren't getting well from the guys that are just using it to stay well. Aren't getting well from heroin because it's not strong enough. They're having to go to fentanyl because they need, their bodies are craving fentanyl. The increase of fentanyl overdoses over the last 3 years, and this is American figures again, has increased by 540%. 540%. And if the world authorities were honest, they would, and the figures were reported correctly from Europe and all over the world, then we would be in the hundreds of thousands of deaths from opioid overdose at the moment. There's no doubt about it. And that's not counting the deaths which are caused, you know, by health issues related to that, you know, and accidents and Christ knows what else caused by this thing. So please make your family and friends and children aware of fentanyl, because fentanyl is death. There's no doubt about it. And it is becoming more and more common. It is easy to make for the cartels and the dealers. It's cheap, and it is going into other drugs. So please be careful. Carpe Diem. Seize the day today. Stay away from this stuff. Thank you.